In the last video, we downloaded and installed a client for our MongoDB or Mongo database called Compass so that we could look at the contents of our database later on when we start to use it. In this, and this is the last thing we have to do actually to set ourselves up to start coding, we're going to install a thing called Visual Studio, and it's a product by Microsoft which also runs on the Mac. And it's an IDE, or an integrated development environment. Now, strictly, you don't really need this. You can use just a text editor to start coding in the way that we're going to, and it'll be fine. But we're going to install VS Code, and I'm just going to download it using Chrome. We're going to install it, VS Code. That's the IDE, Visual Studio Code. It's free as well. You can use it here. We're going to download the Mac version. We're going to use this just because it's nice. It's nice to use. Strictly, there are things we could do that we're not going to do using Visual Studio Code. It'll help us to connect to our GitHub repository if we want. It'll help us to debug stuff if we want. But those things are a little bit advanced. Well, the debugging stuff's a little bit more advanced than what we want to do here. I don't think we're going to need to do any debugging, hopefully. Outside of that, which we can do just using the terminal or our browser. And we don't need to connect to GitHub. We'll do that manually as well. So all we're going to use it for is seeing the code. Now, what's helpful about it is what you see here. So when you use a development environment, an IDE like this one, it'll give you hints about the sorts of things you can use related to the development you're doing as you type. So that's why we're going to use VS Code. It's just a nicer text editor for our purposes. It's just a nicer text editor than a generic one. I don't want to run it out of here, so cancel this. I'm just going to drag this into Applications and launch it out of here just to see that it's working. Yep, open it up, and there it is. So I downloaded it, I dragged it into my applications folder, and then I've launched it, and we should see this. If you see this, then we're done. We've been all the way from a brand new Mac. We've installed all of the stuff that you're going to need in order to create a basic website using Node.js, and that's the exercise we're going to start next. So, as I keep saying, if you got this far, we're ready for the next step, and the next step's a big one. So hang in there. We're going to get started.